great shirt.
Hey guys, Sean Ray here for Digital Muscle. Where are they now? I am with a very familiar bodybuilder from the old school, Lenda Murray, 8-time Ms. Olympia, and also the North American champion, which is where you won your pro card, I believe. I want to say that was in 1986. I don't know exact.
You're
close. Take us back.
No, I won the North American in 1989 in Las Vegas.
Las Vegas, Nevada. Yes. And Linda, are you a native of Michigan?
I'm a native of Michigan, born and raised in Detroit.
All right, you've been around for a hot minute. So 1989, I got to go back in time. I believe Cory Everson was winning her 6th Ms. Olympia in 1989, correct?
Yes. I was there in New York at the Beacon Theater when Cory won her 6th in 1989.
As a spectator?
Yes, I was there as a spectator.
I think that's not the first time we met, but I met you at that competition, if you remember correctly. I think I met you in Gold's Gym through Bill Dobbins not long after you turned pro with the North America. You trained at the world famous Powerhouse Gym in Michigan?
Yes, Woodward Powerhouse in Highland Park, Michigan, and that's where I was introduced to bodybuilding and saw my first bodybuilder, Ron Love.
Ron Love, your 1985 overall NPC national champion. I believe it was 1985, yes.
I think so, yeah definitely.
Phil, let me see, 1984 would have been, I'm going to jog my memory. 1982 was Lee Haney, 83 was Bob Paris, 84 was, it's on the tip of my tongue. 1984, 1985 was Phil Williams.
Okay, I do remember
1986 was Gary Stridham. No, maybe it was Ron
Gary
Love.
So Gary won the Nationals, not the USA?
Gary won the national championships.
Okay.
I'm gonna. You're stumping me on this. I consider myself a historian.
So when did Vince Taylor?
Vince Taylor won in 1988. I won in 1987.
Okay.
1986 was Gary Stridham. 1985, I want to say it was Phil Williams. 1984, is that Ron Love? I don't know. We're gonna have to.
It was 84 or 85 because I remember he was preparing. He was a new pro.
Yeah.
So it had to be like 85, 84 or 85.
I'm going to get Ron Love on Where Are They Now, and he'll clear that up.
Yes.
So you're with the world famous Dabish family out there in Michigan, and you started out as a cheerleader.
Yeah, started out as a cheerleader. 4 years at Western Michigan University. Then I went on to be a USFL cheerleader. 83.
What team?
The Michigan Panthers. We won the first USFL championship.
I want to know if you knew who your starting quarterback was.
Absolutely. Bobby Hebert.
Bobby Hebert out of Louisiana.
Yes.
He was actually played for the Raiders. All right.
Yeah.
So, anyways, after you did the stint with the cheerleading, how did you get into a gym and start bodybuilding?
Actually, I joined the gym because I was thinking about being a Dallas Cowboy cheerleader. That was really like my goal because they were really super popular. I grew up in the 70s, like watching the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders. And so I just joined the gym to like tighten my tummy up and to like lose weight and just stay with it, So that's really where that started.
When and how did you find yourself on a bodybuilding stage, wearing the little bikini, hitting the muscular shots?
Yeah.
How did that happen?
Actually, the way that happened, I remember I was on my mission to be a Dallas Cowboy cheerleader. My girlfriend was on a mission to compete in her first show, which was the Michigan State Championships. And she started weight training, started doing what bodybuilders do, training her upper body. And I remember like maybe 3 months later, she was trying on clothes, and I could literally see the difference. Separation between her shoulders and her triceps and her biceps, and I thought, wow, what an amazing transformation within a short period of time. So I was living and hanging out with bodybuilders, Ron Love and the Dabishes at a real gym, watching them eat egg whites only and doing and eating differently than what we as cheerleaders, what we did to lose weight. So it was just a very different lifestyle. And they were trying to convince me and say, you're trying to do the wrong thing. You're trying to lose muscle, and you have the physique to really do well in bodybuilding.
Your physique was founded on track and field too, right? You're a runner.
Yes.
What did you run when you ran track?
At the time it was a 100-yard dash. I even did a little sprinting, but at the 100-yard dash,
were you fast?
I was fast. 11 seconds.
Okay.
So that's pretty good.
It takes me 11 seconds just to get in the position.
Yeah, 11 seconds
Wow.
100-yard dash.
100
So
yards.
it's very good. Yeah.
I know Gail Devers, the sister of the late PD Devers, was an Olympian track runner. But it's a stretch from going from running track, cheerleading to bodybuilding. What was the first show you won?
The first show that I won, it took me 4 years. First show that I actually won was the Eastern Michigan Championships, and then shortly after that I won the Michigan State Championships, and that was in, my first time competing was 85 and 67. My first time competing was 1985, and it took me 4 years to really understand the diet and the process of dieting and weight training to maintain muscle, and dieting in a way to lose body fat. So that took a while.
It's interesting you said 1985, because now I know that Mike Christian in 1984, the year I graduated high school, was your overall NPC champion. In 1985, it was Ron Love as the overall winner. Phil Williams won the overall USA Championships. Great memories going way back then. But in 1989, you saw Cory Everson win her 6th Miss Olympia championship. You never had a chance to compete with her?
No, never had a chance to compete with her. And you know what? I'm kind of really glad about that. I mean, to be honest, because Cory Everson, just even thinking about her, when I would watch Flex Magazine workout show, and she was on television, and just her body, amazing. The shoulders, a really small waist, and she's got that nice height to her. So, she's just like,
she was also a track
everything.
athlete. She was also a track athlete. It's interesting. Do you remember in 1990, you won your first Olympia you ever competed in?
Yes.
That was a battle between you and Bev Francis.
Yes.
And that was in Los Angeles, I believe it was.
Well, the 1990 was in New York at the Beacon.
Okay.
The second one was in Los Angeles.
But let's get to that second one, because that's it was televised. I believe they were recording it, and I think Bev Francis, was she leading after prejudging?
Yes.
That had to be something that was thrown on Monkey Wrench, because we first saw Bev Francis in 1985 in Pumping Iron 2, the women, against Rachel McClish, and she brought a whole lot of muscle to the stage. We already saw what Cory Everson was able to do, and we saw the athleticism and V-taper that you brought. And here comes Bev Francis, literally out of retirement, to challenge you. And I believe she was leading after prejudging. Did you know that?
You know what? I didn't know that she was leading, but after you win the Olympia, so I'd won it once. So now I'm defending for the first time, which is very challenging, and it was unsettling. I could just tell, like, I wasn't as crisp. I didn't, and the people that surround you, they kind of give you a clue in a sense of, and what I'm saying is not saying directly to you, you know, you're like behind by 2 points, but they're kind of avoiding you.
Yeah.
Eye contact.
But you do realize there's 4 rounds, so there's another part after prejudging, which is actually where you excel in your performance round.
Yes.
Do you think that catapulted you to victory?
Yes, definitely.
You were a performer much more than Bev. Bev was a bodybuilder hitting the muscle shots.
Yes, and that's, you know, that's where I feel like with my cheerleading background, you know, when I first looked at bodybuilders on stage, before I stepped on stage, I said, oh, I could do that. I'm used to being in front of people, and I could put together a routine, but it took a while for me to transition into learning what you need to do to put together a posing routine at the same time. You're up there muscular, and, you know, so you're not jumping around like a cheerleader, but that's my strong point. I mean, what I really bring to the stage. And by 1991, I was definitely very experienced, and so I feel like that really helped me. It wasn't my physique.
Yeah.
It was the posing.
It was a different time and a place for women bodybuilders, and it was very accepted and socially acceptable. Did you experience any negativity taking on the role of a more masculine female with an athletic build?
Ooh, yeah. You saying, did I? You know what? I was very uncomfortable. It was challenging for me to transition into that physique. And I'm going to say pretty much every year that I competed in the Miss Olympia, I loved my look when I was about 5 weeks out, and it depends.
Fuller,
fuller. My face was, fuller. I felt healthy, but as I approached the day of the show, that was always really challenging.
You had to kind of lose everything that you had worked for, and then you get to this state of deprivation. Did you ever feel like this isn't something I want to do? Because there's a lot of people that have strong opinions on a woman with shoulders and biceps, for and against.
Yeah.
What did the family think as you being this bodybuilder?
Oh, that's a great question. You know what? My mother always supported me in everything that I did. My dad always supported me also. However, it was challenging for my father to accept this transition, this transformation that he watched his daughter make. And so in 1990, he was not present at the Beacon Theater. He showed up in 1991 because then he really...
The proud father.
The proud father, and he realized that I had just won the world championships and I was the best female bodybuilder in the world. And like I said, he's always supported me, but it was really very challenging for him.
I imagine the best revenge is success, especially when you do it on your level. Do you remember what the prize money was when you won your first Olympia?
Yeah, the prize money, my first Miss Olympia, I took home $27,000.
Had that been the biggest amount of money you had received at one time in your life at that point?
Yes, at one lump sum, absolutely.
And so did that incentivize your thirst for coming back? Because now you're getting validation and you're getting the financial reward of the sweat equity of actually doing your passion.
Yeah.
It becomes a business.
You know what? It was definitely motivating. A lot changed overnight. I got, started working for Joe Weider. But I'm going to tell you honestly, I think that athletes, when you're truly passionate about what you do, most of us, we're really not doing it for the paycheck. The money was motivating, and I think what happens, and this is where I always see the difference between an amateur and a pro. Amateurs, it's like we're eating tuna fish out of a can.
Starving.
We're starving.
We're on a budget.
We're on a budget, and then when I see someone win the Olympia or they turn pro, I always think, okay, congratulations. Now you're a pro. Now you're making money. Now I want to see you transition into being this person now that you're not worried about money. You can go out and eat steaks and, the best fish. And I want to see you transition and see how successful. And once you get your second Olympia and your third Olympia, then I'm impressed.
Well, not many people get a first Olympia. I mean, you were very fortunate. You got 8 of them. That being said, women's bodybuilders have always complained about the financial compensation, like a lot of women's sports compared to men. We're different in that thought process, I guess, because you won the Olympia right out of the gate, and I didn't.
Yes.
I was passionate like yourself as a bodybuilder, but once I realized other people are making money, the writers, the magazines, the supplement companies, the contest promoters, I figured I need to get paid too. And I came from the tutelage of John Brown. We did a Where Are They Now on him. And for him, it was always about the money. It was always a business. And I came from that cloth.
Yes.
And so I tried to be the best I could to continue financing my career. Maybe you had a little easier road to hoe because you were Ms. Olympia and in demand. But for the most part, I've always given athletes the advice that, listen, if you're going to do it, you got to look at the bottom line. Everybody else is making money. You, the athlete, better find your niche and find a way to get paid so you can keep reinvesting into the machine. And I thought the more money I make, the more I can invest in my physique, the better I could be as a competitor. That being said, you ran into some roadblocks, man. I mean, you had some pretty good challengers along the way. You missed the Cory Everson era. You ran into the muscle of Bev Francis.
Yes.
What came after that? Who was second place to you in 92?
You know what? The person that always gave me a run for my money was Laura Cravell.
Laura was an awesome bodybuilder.
She's an awesome bodybuilder, awesome athlete, always came in great shape. And what I want to say about that is kind of talking about what you just mentioned about this is a business.
It is.
And you got that, and you learned that early on from John Brown and how he approached this. And there is a disadvantage, I think, to sometimes with some of the athletes that win. if you win the Olympia or you get first place, so sometimes you're like in a little bit of a delusion and you're a little confused as to what to do next, and you can get caught up. And I actually learned a lot from you, Sean. And I watched you back during the day, and to be honest, that's why I say my first 6 Olympia wins, it took time for me to really transition into really understanding that I was part of a business. I mean, as soon as I won my first Olympia, I was under contract with Weeder, working for Joe Weeder. So I had this paycheck coming in here. I had this guarantee from Hammer Strength Equipment coming. So I had these things, and it makes you comfortable. You know what I mean? And so that's why I always say to people when I returned to the Olympia stage in 2002, that was really sweet because I was a different person as far as knowing and understanding that this is a business. And that's why I think the two of us, we're still here, still working.
Right.
I mean, I got lucky that I got that second opportunity. And I also think I got lucky because of the transition that women bodybuilders had to go through, you know, after, during getting close to my retirement, the first, 6, and then losing the Iris Kyle on my what was it, my 7th attempt.
Well, I want to address that because Iris Kyle went on to win 10 Olympia championships. I believe one of them she won her class, like they split.
Yes.
But she got 10, and she was a rival of it. Did she ever beat you? She did beat you?
Iris? Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
What year was that?
You know what? Let me see. Wait a minute. Well, Iris beat me in 2004. That's when she first beat me. After. Right. So I won my official 7th in 2002. Official 7th in 2002. In 2003 was my 8th, and in 2004 I got 2nd to Iris.
Do you think you hung around too long, or was Iris that good?
Well, I'm going to say, well, first of all, Iris, she's definitely that good, okay? However, as far as me hanging around, I had, at the time, an issue with my quadricep and my development. I was starting to lose development in my quadricep. And if you look at the pictures, you can clearly see, I never point that out to people. I knew back then that I didn't have the same quadricep development that I had in previous
Well, I know
years.
most champions don't want to give up. I mean, look at what Dexter Jackson's doing at 50 years old.
Yes.
And he just came off a 2nd place at the Arnold Classic. Iris Kyle went on to be arguably one of the greatest bodybuilders to ever do the business, and it took her a while to get there. Yes. She was not an overnight sensation.
Yes.
Were you trained by someone? Did you have a guru that you worked with or a trainer?
You know what? I didn't. Well, wait a minute. Like, I work with Chad Nichols.
Okay.
Like, Chad Nichols is without question.
Here we go.
He changed. When I decided to come back.
Okay. What year was this?
This was I decided to come back in 2001. I made the decision. I actually stepped on the stage in 2002.
Right.
I was talking to Bill Dobbins, and, the person that, when I talk about somebody that kicked my butt out of all my Miss Olympia wins, like Kim Shazevsky, like, I remember that clearly. The whole
4-time Miss Olympia.
4 times Miss Olympia. She kicked my butt. I remember the feeling I had on stage, and I knew I was in, trouble. I got lucky to get 2nd. I got lucky. But when I watched her as I'm on stage, I will never forget how incredible the conditioning.
Did she change the game and the look of women's bodybuilding, in your opinion?
She changed the game. She changed. I think. You know what? I think they changed the game, not just in women's bodybuilding, but I think in men as well.
No question.
I think the athletes, we, without question.
So you know that me and Chad are at odds. I'm sure you've heard the back and forth about what I think of gurus. It's different when you're talking about a trainer, because a trainer's on hand, they're in the gym, and they're kicking your ass. A guru shows up at the last minute, and in my opinion, breaks out a black bag and does his magic, and either it works or it doesn't. How was your experience? Because you're one of the survivors, I like to say, of the Chad Nichols camp.
So you say survivor.
Well, I've been on record as saying the guy has blood on his hands as it relates to a lot of bodybuilders he's worked with. There's been a lot of casualties in the Chad Nichols camp. You're clearly not one of them. His wife is clearly not one of them. So maybe there's different things for females as it is for men. Your experience clearly is a positive one.
I'm going to tell you in regards to, because I love Chad and I love Kim, and so I'm going to say this being very honest about us as athletes. I think that when you say guru, and now with this whole thing with all these trainers, teams, and all this stuff, I didn't like for me, I know my body. I know who I am, and I was responsible for the one, getting up, training, getting up every morning, looking in that mirror at my body, knowing the changes. And so for me, I don't ever cross the line, and I'm not going to do something. I have my own mind. And I think that athletes make the mistake
giving up all
their control, and you have to know who you are and know your body. Don't be so carb depleted or brain dead, or
and then just let the guru do whatever they want.
Right, absolutely. I mean, for me, I was always a little bit confused when I talked to an athlete, and every 5 minutes they were, he's supposed to make my food, and I'm like, are you kidding me?
You have to take ownership.
You have to take ownership. You have to take ownership of your physique, and for me, everything that Chad, that he did, and the way we worked together, I loved it, because to me he gave me advice and direction, and from the period of time that I was competing and going into this new era, I needed that help. That's where I was really always missing the help, was what I needed the last 2 weeks with carb depletion, and just the water.
So with your injury, walking away from the sport, watching Iris Kyle take hold of it and run with it, and then we watched the disappearance of the Miss Olympia. Iris was very passionate about that contest being taken away from the women bodybuilders, because that was her entire life. You're in retirement. You have your 8 Sandows. How did you feel about the Miss Olympia being taken away?
I wasn't happy about it. Because I've worked so hard, and then you kind of think about your future, and I'm like, okay, what are you guys gonna just wipe us off the map? You're not gonna even talk about the women? I mean, I worked hard to win my 8 Miss Olympia titles, and many times I've always visualized, especially when I would see a tribute to the Mr. Olympia champions, and they would all be on stage, and so I visualized that, and I knew that was coming, and so that kind of thing bugged me. I'm like, wait a minute, so that's why I'm still here.
Well, it sounds like you found your calling, because Wings of Strength picked up the ball and ran with it. They actually did that before the disappearance of the Ms. Olympia.
Yes.
Giving you guys a platform, an international platform, with the help of the other promoters, Tim Gardner, Jack Titoni, Ron Hachey. These guys are supporting what's happening in the women's side. But of course, Jake Wood, Alina Popa, yourself, you're the driving force right now for the reunification, the reemergence of the Ms. Olympia in 2020. So these ladies are not forgotten, and they have somewhere to go with all these different qualifying shows that are now being placed and planted around the globe. That being said, do you think that's going to drag someone like Iris Kyle back out on the hunt to try to go for number 11?
Well, you know what? I mean, with someone like Iris, she is a true competitor.
Are you guys friends?
We're not friends.
Are you like Muhammad Ali and Joe Frazier type?
Yeah, that's a great
you have the
example.
Respect, but it's not like you guys are going to sit down and have coffee together.
Absolutely.
And that's because of the competitive. Me and Dorian Yates were that way forever, because I only tore the champion apart. He only heard negativity coming out of my mouth. Now we can we actually went to Russia and had vodka together.
That's it.
And he's transitioned and let the competitive side go, and we're able to communicate. Whereas when we were competing, we couldn't. you and Iris still can't come together
Yes.
to agree on the time of day.
No, I agree with you on that. So yeah, when you were talking about having coffee and doing vodka,
That's not happening.
not right now. It's not.
That
I
comes
don't
from a
think.
place of competitiveness. I get
Yes.
it. I think you have to be one of the elite athletes to understand that. Look, it's hard to be friends with somebody that you battle with.
Yeah.
But with that being said, do you think it's enough for her to come out and compete if it comes back? Or, well, it is coming back, but is she going to come back?
Wow, you know what? You never know with Iris. And I think that all I can say in her case is that I know when I had my hiatus, and because I love weight training and I was still weight training, that was what allowed me to come back. And I saw Iris at the Olympia in in September of 2019, and she looks amazing. I've seen her on Instagram.
Did you guys speak?
We didn't really, no.
Do we know where the rivalry comes from? Was there a moment of disrespect on her end or on your part?
You know what? I feel like it was a moment of disrespect on her part, to be honest. And also, I mean, now I'm a different person, and so I guess I have a better understanding of, I let people do and be who they are. I think what's really disappointing for me is that, like, I didn't even know she was from Michigan. I'm from Michigan, and here she is, a black woman. Here she is. It's only a world champion. It's only a few of us that have won the Olympia, and I have mad respect for Cory Everson. And I've never really had a conversation with Rachel McLeish, but I have mad respect for Rachel. I understand.
You don't think Iris respects you?
You know what? I don't
She's never
think
shown
so. You know what? I mean, well, and you know what? Where I'm at today is I don't expect. No one has to show me respect. You know what I mean? However, I think at the time you have to understand. While I was the champion, you can say on one hand that you respect Lenda Murray, but then on the other hand, when you really don't show it and we're currently competing, that was bizarre to me.
I think women are different because I got in fights with Kevin and with Flex and with Torian.
Yeah.
I pretty much fought with all these guys, Dexter, but somehow or another we rise above it, and yet you guys can't come to the table and put it aside.
Yeah.
Women, it's a different animal, but you've progressed way beyond that now.
Mm-hmm.
You're instrumental with
Yes.
Wings of Strength bringing back the Ms. Olympia Championships. You're a contest promoter. You added another one that's been postponed right now in Michigan.
Yes.
But let's talk about where we're at now, because moving forward, there's a lot of irons in the fire, an opportunity that not only are given to you, but you're also providing for others.
Yes.
These ladies that are going to be returning to Las Vegas for the Ms. Olympia, what are they walking into? Are we going to pick up where we left off in terms of the glorification of women with muscles, or is this going to be a bunch of 50-plus-year-old women bodybuilders coming out of retirement?
Oh, wow. Great question. I mean, you know what? I've always had, I think, too, that I've always had my outlook on my approach to being a female bodybuilder. Because, again, I started out as an athlete first in other disciplines. And I've always believed that the absolute best athlete on stage is not always the most ripped or the biggest or the prettiest. It's an overall complete package that is just something about that athlete that sparkles. What I want to see and expect to see is healthy athletes. And when I say healthy, I, as a bodybuilder, I know what it looks like when we're dieted down. So I expect your face to be lean. I'm not saying that I expect you to look like a normal athlete. And when you look at figure competitors, when you're lean and you're 7% body fat, you're going to have a very lean look.
Right.
And sometimes to the normal public, it's not normal.
So is it a facial contest? I mean, what are they going to do different with the return of the Ms. Olympia so it doesn't disappear again? Are they going to be looking for a more fuller type of a woman bodybuilder that's not so emaciated and drawn out?
You know what? I feel yes, but I think they're looking for the judges know they want muscle. They want you to be lean. They want to see that you worked hard. But I think every single judge, they also look for that complete package, that thing that just stands out, and the audience sees it, and it's always pretty clear. I know for me, if I had to judge, people would be probably unhappy with some of my choices, decisions, because that's what I look for. I am a cheerleader at heart. I'm an athlete at heart, so I understand both. And when it comes to your face, yeah, to me, your face is important. I don't really understand why. I mean, we're not asking you to be a beauty queen.
Right. And
what I also want to see is we're role models. You know, other sports, if you're a professional athlete, he could be making $10 million. But guess what? Maybe Coca-Cola is not going to, put him on the sponsor him because his attitude sucks.
Right.
This is a complete package. I'm sorry, this is bodybuilding. This is not who crosses the finish line first. Period. End of story.
So do you think that maybe what women's bodybuilding needs, and I think for the men too, is maybe some mentorship? Maybe there needs to be a gathering once a year, twice a year, from the old school people to kind of tell the young girls coming up, this is what's expected. This is what you don't want to do. Because I know that when you go into football and the NBA, they literally give a course on code of conduct, what you should do, what you shouldn't do.
Yes.
And there are expectations of you. But this is a membership. The IFBB Pro League and the NPC is a membership. Would you be in favor of having, they have these clinics for judging. Should they have a clinic for mentorship? And maybe that's something that we can move towards.
Yes, definitely. We definitely need mentorship program. We definitely need that. I know that I'm on the committee for the Rising Phoenix, and it's by invitation only. And I'm just going to be honest. For me, it's an overall look. I want someone on that stage that the world can look at and they represents us well. Period. End of story. I don't care. End of story.
All right. Well, you're hearing it here from the 8-time world champion, Lenda Murray. Lenda, where can people find you? I mean, you're all over the world. Right now, we're stuck here in sunny Southern California,
yes.
But where can people go to communicate with Lenda Murray?
Well, you can go to LendaMurrayBodybuilding.com. You can always find me also on wingsofstrength.net. I also own my own supplement line, and I'm selling on Amazon, Crystal Planet Nutrition.
And what is that you're selling?
Oh, God, I'm selling ashwagandha and rhodiola.
Ganda and rhodiola.
Ashwagandha and rhodiola.
Ashwagandha. It sounds like Wakanda. I got to go Google this stuff.
Yes, it's great.
Ashwagandha
and rhodiola.
Is that
They're two herbs.
Okay.
Yes.
What do they do?
They're adaptogens, and basically what they do is it just brings you back into balance. So, a lot of times, like, how your body when you're in your teens and then you're in your 20s and everything just popping and starts working, and then when you get to close to like 30, things start to change.
Sure.
As far as your body. It helps women. It helps with your libido.
This is better natural way than HRT stuff.
Yes, it's great. It helps with women with menopause. It helps with energy. So it just really brings you back to balance.
That's awesome.
It's a herb that's been around for 3,000 years. I'm really into anti-aging, and so I'm doing and just investigating a lot of products like that.
And we can get those on Amazon?
Yep, you can get them on Amazon.
Or where's the other place on your website?
Yep, you can get them on my website, crystalplanetnutrition.com.
Lenda, everyone wants to know how old you are, because it's actually not how old you are. You're young. You look you haven't aged at all. You want to share your age with these guys?
I'm 58. I just turned 58, February 22nd.
Wow. So you're not an Aquarius. Are you on the bubble?
I'm a Pisces.
A Pisces. Lenda Murray, doing big things in bodybuilding and giving back to the sport. We hope to see you guys all September the 9th to the 13th in Las Vegas. Stay safe. Practice social distancing. She's crowding my space.
I think.
But we're gonna have more with Where Are They Now. But for right now, here in sunny Laguna Beach, California, for Lenda Murray, I'm Sean Ray, DigitalMuscle.com.